Yeah, not my best. Obviously, I'd like to take care of the ball better. But as bad as I played in the first half, I thought I battled in the second half and put us in position to win the game. So I was proud of that, but obviously got to start stronger.
Were there any commonalities that you saw that kind of contributed to make the start that you did more?
Just take what the defense gives me. Don't try to force it.
You seemed visibly bothered by it, kind of just being by your locker when we were all in there. Was that just a normal, you were really upset that you didn't play well in the first half, or the loss, or kind of what was behind why that seemed to...
You're saying staying in my locker for?
Yeah.
Oh, I do that every game. Yeah.
That's new to us because we haven't been around.
There you go. COVID.
What stands out to you most about Dallas' defense?
Micah Parsons. He's a really good player. You gotta have a plan for him. Gotta be aware of where he's at all times. He can wreck the game if you let him.
Joe, why do you do that every game? Is that a part of the process that helps you sitting there taking it all in that long, or?
I don't know. It's just what I do. Maybe it was a little longer on Sunday than usual, but I do it after practice too.
Are you replaying different plays in your head, or what's the?
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
You do it after a win or a loss, kind of sit there and process, or just a loss?
Yeah, I do it after both.
How challenging is it to just shake it off in the moment in the second quarter when things aren't going your way, and how hard is it to flip that switch and immediately kind of turn the game around in the moment?
No, it wasn't difficult. I didn't let any of the turnovers faze me. I think that showed with the comeback in the second half. Obviously, I got to play better for us to win, but it is what it is at this point.
At what point in your career did you learn to shake off mistakes like that? Just from the jump, have you always been that way? Is there a moment that stands out where you learned to shake it off?
I feel like I've always kind of been that way. Interceptions are going to happen. You try to limit them as much as you can, but you got to move on. There's a lot of plays to be had throughout the game, and we had 100 and some snaps, and so there were 4 snaps of an interception. That's 100 more snaps that you got to play.
What do you have a week, not just last week, but in general, where a week you feel like you didn't play as well as you could have? What's the biggest thing in putting it behind you as you start prepping for the next week and making sure it doesn't have to carry on?
Having a good week of practice, going out and executing the way you're supposed to in practice, playing it like a game, just putting it behind you and taking your completions in practice and getting to Friday and Saturday feeling good.
Zach said if T can't go, you guys have a lot of confidence in the backup receivers. Mike Thomas played a lot of snaps. What's your confidence level with those guys, and how comfortable do you feel?
Yeah, those guys have played a lot of football for us. Trent Taylor has made plays. Mike Thomas has made plays. Stanley Morgan has made plays. So we have confidence in all those guys. They played a lot of football for us, and they know exactly what they're doing when they're out there. So if T can go, great. If he can't, we got confidence in those guys.
Joe, what did you think of not just how Jamar played, but the fact that he never came off the field for a snap at whatever it was, 100 plays? What did you think of that in general?
Unbelievable effort by him. He's a unique, special player that you don't see a lot. And we, as much as we got him the ball on Sunday, we got to get him the ball more.
Was there an area you even saw Jamar improve based on last year that translated in the game on Sunday?
Just moving him around. We played him. When T went down, he played Z, he played X, he played in the slot, and I think that'll make it hard on defenses to try to eliminate him from the game plan. Just moving him around, you got to always find him, have a plan for when he's in the slot, when he's to the boundary, when he's to the field, all that stuff, and he's a smart enough player to do it.
Was that the most snaps you played since the 7 overtime game, do you think?
I don't know. It was definitely tiring, that's for sure.
You watch the tape. Do you know why it started out so badly? I mean, why you played that way in the first half and then turned it around the second half? Were you kind of like shaking off rust, or what was going on?
Yeah, I think we talked about that early in the press conference. Just taking what the defense gives me, not forcing it.
Said being able to run the ball in the red zone would probably be the easiest way you guys can improve down there. They're down there at the 1 yard line a couple of times. I guess how frustrating is it for you guys to not be able to punch it in and get 6? And how do you guys move forward and try to keep improving in the red zone?
Yeah, just you watch the film and see where you can improve in that area. And obviously, we'd like to be better in the red zone than we were on Sunday. So we're going to work at it this week and come back on Sunday, and hopefully we're more efficient.
You mentioned Parsons as their difference maker. What makes him stand out? What makes him different than just a regular pass rusher? Anything you've noticed that impressed you the most in terms of his ability to get to the quarterback?
Yeah, I mean, usually you have a pass rusher and he lines up on one side of the ball, and you can kind of have a plan for him, but he rushes outside, he rushes inside, he rushes right, he rushes left. They blitz him from the linebacker position, so you always got to be aware of where he's at.
Coach Zach told us on Monday that he's got to do a better job slowing down the game for him from his point of view at critical points like the Jamar non-touchdown. I'm curious from your perspective, how does communication evolve over the course of a game with Zach and Brian?
Yeah, I mean, it's communication on all fronts wasn't up to our standard on Sunday, from me to the O-line to the receivers to the coaching staff. So that might be first game. We're going faster than usual, and we're going to get better and better at that.
When you say the O-line, you're talking about protection specifically, or
From me to from everybody.
So what's the difference between taking what they give you and making a play? I mean, what's the line? I mean, that's a pretty thin line, isn't it?
Yeah, there comes times of the game that you have to go make a play, but for the most part, if you take what the defense gives you, you're going to move the ball down the field and be efficient and put points on the board. So I just have to get back to that mindset.
You mentioned that you thought a lot of teams play cover two, and Pittsburgh did play quite a bit of it. Do you expect Dallas to play cover two as well, or do they run a little bit and look to their cover two, or what do you see there?
They have it in their defense, so we'll have a plan for it. But just like every game, I think we're going to face something different from every team than what they put on film. So we'll be expecting what they've shown on tape, and we'll have to adjust on the fly.
Last time you played Trayvon Diggs, you had a big day in college. What stands out to you about how much he's improved since when you saw him play at Alabama to now? And do you think he's one of the premier cornerbacks in the NFL?
Yeah, he makes a lot of plays. Obviously, with however many interceptions he had last year, it felt like a million. He's not afraid to take chances. He's going to jump routes, and he's going to. You got to be aware of who you're throwing a 50-50 ball to when he's covering him, because he's going to go make a play. I mean, I think he's a former receiver at some point in his career, so you got to be aware of that.
Did you think Jamar scored on that 12-yarder late in the game, under 3 minutes to go?
Yeah, I thought he did.
In the moment?
Yeah.
What was that for you? Because I know Zach said he was saying get up on the line, and he was worried about them challenging the play. Was it just that simple when you heard that, or were you thinking?
When he calls the play, I go run it. It's not my job to throw a challenge flag. I'm out there. There's bullets flying out there. I thought he had scored, but I didn't have a great look at it either. So you'd like that to be a touchdown, but we had 4 other opportunities to punch that in, and we didn't take advantage of that.
Joe, what's the fine line between rushing to the line, trying to get the defense out of position, and taking your time to get in a play maybe that might be more suited to that situation? What's the balance there?
It depends on the play. Some plays, you're not worried about where the defense is, and you can just get up and run it quickly. And other plays, you have to be able to see the defense to make your calls and make adjustments depending on what front it might be, what coverage it might be, and all that. So I think it just depends on the play that you have called.
Do you have the option with Zach to call a timeout and say, I'm not comfortable with this, I don't want to do this timeout, I'm going to come to the sideline and regroup? Do you have that option with Zach in that situation?
Yeah, we've talked about that.
Has there been any chatter throughout the week of, not kind of avoiding an 0-2 start or making sure that you'll start well, probably would be the more accurate thing? Has that been at the topic of conversation coming out of that it's the strong starts maybe still on the table for you guys?
Yeah, we're just focused on winning this game, having a great week of practice, and the rest will take care of itself.
Joe, you talk about you can get the ball to Jamar more. I know that's never a bad plan to throw to him, but is there a danger in it in your own mind of making sure that the distribution is what has made your offense so dangerous, of not focusing too much on that when it's always so comfortable to just look for number one? How is that? Is that a hard thing for you to try to balance as he's having a great game?
No, I mean, whether T's having a great game or TB or Jamar or Joe, we're gonna feed, whatever guys is feeling it and is getting the opportunities depending on the defensive look. And so we're gonna have a game plan for everything that we see and go out there and execute the best we can.
This will be your first time back at AT&T since your LSU opener, or is that cross your mind at all this week?
Everyone keeps asking, for some reason, everyone keeps asking me if I played there before. It's happened a bunch, and I don't know what that means, but people keep doing it. And I have an answer for them because I did, but thought that was interesting.
Why do you think that's the case?
I don't know. Feel like it's kind of an iconic stadium in our league, and obviously the big scoreboard, and the Cowboys have a lot of rich tradition, and so whenever you go there, I think it kind of feels a little different.
Joe, when the team didn't come out as sharp as you wanted to in the first half last week, does it shift the mental energy even more towards being that much more sharper in the second game?
No, I mean, we go into every week feeling like we should go out there and execute the way we need to. First half, we didn't do that, but we're going to have a great week of practice. We're going to go out there and execute on Sunday.
And when you come off a loss, is there a different fire inside of you? Is there a different motivation inside of you in a week like this?
No. Every week you feel the same. Whether you win or lose, after Monday you put it behind you and you try to go out there and play your best ball on Sunday.
Joe, when you go against Micah Fitzpatrick or a Diggs, how much do you have to account for them? How much do you study for them? You talked about the jumping routes. How do you get ready for that?
Yeah, you just have to be aware that some players are going to take chances and maybe not be exactly where you expect them to be in a coverage structure. They might jump a route like Micah did on the first pass attempt of the game. And when you play players like that, you just have to be aware that option is always there for them. They're very good, instinctive players that are going to make plays like that. And you have to study their film, understand coverage structure where they might be able to do something like that, and you just always have to keep that in the back of your mind.
Dallas had 26 interceptions as a team. He had 11, led the league, but they had 26 and that led the league as well. Are they more aggressive overall? Is that a Dan Quinn mentality, or is it what do you think the reason is for that success with interceptions?
I think they have really good players that understand when they can take chances and aren't afraid to get up and be aggressive in man coverage, and then understand their coverage structure really well.
To you, what does a good practice feel like?
In practice, you'd like the ball to never hit the ground. I mean, that's ideal. During these season practices, camp's a little different. You're trying things and all that, but during the season, you never want the ball to hit the ground.
But aside from that, just straight completions, is there a certain feel, certain vibe that you get when you get off the field? Like, okay, I think we really had a good one.
Yeah, it's definitely a different feeling than if you have bad practice. But like I said, early in the week, it's more mentally taxing, and then later in the week, you start to sharpen up and understand how people are going to run this new route that we have in, and you get more reps at it.
Zach said last week, I think, referencing exactly that he tries to give you guys as many things challenging or you haven't seen before on Wednesdays. Is that pretty accurate, the way you look at it?
Yeah, Wednesdays are definitely more mentally taxing just because you have a whole new game plan and new play calls in the huddle, new defensive structure that you're facing on the scout team. So you're tired at the end of the day, but it's also a great mental day for us.
How hard is it to study a defense early in the year and, compared to later in the year when they don't have a hell of a lot of tendencies? How hard is that going into an early season game to do what you're talking about, studying that?
Yeah, it's difficult because you have to go back to last year to see what you expect them to do, but it's a whole new year. They have new players, a lot of new assistant coaches sometimes, and you have to kind of extrapolate what you expect to see against your offense. So you go look at offenses that might be similar to yours, and you go back and watch that tape and see what they did to them. And the early season games, you just have to be great about making adjustments on the fly, and I think we have really smart players that are able to do that.
How much different is the Cowboys' defense than what you saw last week? I mean, schematically, philosophy.
Yeah, I mean, it's completely different defensive structure, new defensive coordinator, different players. So, every week is different.